Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Usually we're deep diving into like high-end gadgets or complex tech, right? But today we're dissecting a totally fascinating e-commerce phenomenon. It's an everyday item that literally took over the market. We are looking at the anatomy of a massive bestseller, the BS Mall 18-piece makeup brush set. We're going to dig into the data, the product specs, the customer feedback, the whole shebang to figure out exactly how this specific set captured the wallets of so many people.
Okay, I want to hit you with a number right out of the gate. 58,746. That is the staggering number of customer reviews this single product has racked up on Amazon. I mean, in online retail, just getting a few hundred reviews, that's a huge milestone. But approaching 60,000, that is a completely different stratosphere of buyer engagement. It's wild.
And it's not just, sitting in the background collecting dust. This thing holds the absolute top spot. It is the #1 bestseller in the insanely competitive category of makeup brush sets and kits. Think about that. It's beating out thousands of other brands, from the massive, established cosmetic giants all the way down to other budget-friendly competitors. Just to give you a sense of the momentum it has right now, over 20,000 people have bought this exact set in the past month alone. That breaks down to roughly 600 sets sold every single day. So, this brings up our central mystery for this explainer, right? In a market that is just absolutely flooded with beauty tools, why is this specific brush set so overwhelmingly popular? What's the secret sauce here?
Section 1. Anatomy of a bestseller.
Let's take a look inside the black case. All right, so let's strip away the hype and look at the hard facts. To really understand the appeal, we've got to look at exactly what buyers get when this package actually shows up at their door. So what is inside that sleek black case? Well, it turns out it's a pretty comprehensive arsenal. You aren't just getting a few basic tools, you're getting 18 unique brushes designed for the face, eyes, and lips. It all comes in this soft, lightweight black travel case that keeps everything organized. Oh, and a really clever touch is the labeled handles, which we'll talk more about in a sec. Plus, to protect them during shipping, the brushes are individually netted to hold their shape. Basically, it's an all-in-one kit meant to cover every single step of a routine, from liquid foundation and powder all the way to meticulous eyeshadow blending, blush, and contouring.
Now, what's really interesting here is the material breakdown. We're looking at nylon bristles, polypropylene handles, and aluminum ferrules. That's the little metal band connecting the bristles to the handle. But check out those attributes at the bottom. Despite being a mass-produced budget item, these materials are completely vegan and cruelty-free. And honestly, that's a massive selling point for today's conscientious consumer. People want ethical beauty products, but they don't necessarily want to pay that crazy luxury markup.
And speaking of that markup, here is the real kicker, $9.99. No joke. For less than a $10 bill, you are getting 18 vegan makeup brushes and a travel case. If you do the math on that, it's roughly 55 cents per brush. Suddenly, when you look at the sheer volume of tools you're getting, it seems like an incredible, almost unbeatable bargain.
Section 2. What buyers love most. But, a low price only gets you so far, right? If the product was actually terrible, those 60,000 reviews would be overwhelmingly negative. So we parsed the data from thousands of customer reviews to really understand what's driving this reception. And the results? Incredibly consistent. Out of thousands of mentions, the top 3 praises are the unexpected quality with over 1,800 positive mentions, the extreme softness of the bristles coming in with over 1,300 positive mentions, and the unbeatable value for the money right behind that. Basically, buyers are genuinely shocked that a $10 set doesn't actually feel like a $10 set.
Just listen to this glowing review because it perfectly validates the data we just looked at. The buyer explicitly calls out the super soft bristles, the fact that there's a brush for everything, and the great value. It really just hits the nail on the head. This product delivers exactly what the budget-conscious beauty consumer is after. You get the comprehensive utility, but you don't have to sacrifice a pleasant tactile experience to get it.
There's also another brilliant design choice here that's really driving its popularity. Think about it. If you're a makeup novice, getting 18 different tools all at once could be super intimidating. Like, which one is for concealer? Which one do I use for contouring? Well, BS Mall solved this by making this set aggressively beginner-friendly. Engraved labels right there on the handles tell you exactly what each brush is for. You don't have to guess. The tool literally instructs you. This completely removes the barrier to entry for beginners and honestly makes it a highly giftable item.
And the numbers brilliantly illustrate the result of those design and pricing choices. 77% of reviewers gave it a perfect 5 stars. Another 14% gave it 4 stars. That means over 90% of buyers are highly satisfied.
All of that rolls up into a 4.6 overall rating out of nearly 60,000 reviews. Let me tell you, for a $10 product, maintaining that level of satisfaction at that massive scale is remarkably difficult to pull off.
Section 3. The chemical smell catch. Okay, so we've got to pivot the narrative to a bit of a reality check here, because let's be real, a $10 18-piece set is definitely bound to have a catch. You just can't manufacture and ship this much product at this price point without cutting a corner somewhere. So first, let's look at durability. The manufacturer makes this pretty bold claim, no shedding, built to last without losing shape. But when we contrast that brand claim directly with the customer reality, the consensus is split right down the middle. We found 345 positive mentions regarding durability, but on the flip side, 355 negative mentions where users complained about bristle shedding or the brush heads feeling a bit flimsy over time. At 55 cents a brush, longevity is definitely a bit of a gamble. But here's the thing, shedding isn't even the biggest complaint. We absolutely need to highlight the most notorious flaw of this bestseller. There are over 500 negative mentions specifically regarding a really intense odor right upon unboxing. One reviewer even noted having an allergic reaction to the nasty smelling chemical on these. So we're not just talking about a faint plastic smell, this is a highly concentrated industrial odor right out of the package.
Yeah, another reviewer actually confirms this, saying they were greeted with a strong scent of acetone or something similar. Yikes. However, this review also offers a little glimmer of hope. They added, "But I left the brushes laid out, and the smell's pretty much gone." So it turns out this flaw is totally solvable, but it does require the buyer to put in a little elbow grease before they can actually use the product.
So here's the absolutely crucial point. If you buy these, you literally cannot use them straight out of the box. You got to follow these manufacturer and customer recommended cleaning steps first. Step 1, wash the brushes thoroughly with a gentle baby soap or shampoo. Step 2, leave them out to air dry completely. Doing this eliminates that strong chemical or paint-like odor before those synthetic bristles ever even touch your sensitive facial skin.
Finally, let's get to the final verdict.
All right, so we've seen the incredible sales numbers, the genius pricing strategy, the overwhelmingly positive feedback on softness, and of course, the undeniable reality of that chemical smell and the mixed longevity. So let's wrap this up with your ultimate buyer's summary. On the pro side, you are looking at an absolutely unbeatable $10 value for 18 highly versatile pieces. The bristles are surprisingly soft, they're super beginner-friendly with those labeled handles, and they're completely vegan. On the con side, though, you do have to deal with the strong chemical odor right out of the box, which makes a pre-wash absolutely mandatory. And you've got those mixed reports on long-term durability and bristle shedding.
Which leaves us with one final thought-provoking question. Is this $10 brush set right for your makeup routine? Look, if you're a professional makeup artist, you might want to look elsewhere for heavy-duty longevity. But if you're a beginner, a traveler, or just someone looking for an affordable, comprehensive toolkit, this bestseller offers a massive amount of utility for literally the price of a single fancy latte. You know, provided you don't mind washing them first. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. It really leaves us wondering, doesn't it? What other hidden gems or cleverly masked compromises are lurking right at the top of our favorite e-commerce charts?